Hey guys, this is Jonathan from Fitness for Freedom. Today we are going to do a follow-along video to help you improve your shoulder mobility. Okay, so I like to start doing the shoulder mobility exercises with arm circles at the beginning because arm circles do a couple of things. One is it helps improve the blood flow to your shoulders, so it makes them a little bit more mobile. And two, it helps you get your shoulder blades moving, so getting them squeezing down and back and then rolling forward. So we're gonna start by doing backwards arm circles, okay? So if you were following along there, you should be at about 5 or 6 right now. And I really want you to focus on squeezing your shoulder blades down and back and really pushing them forward as you come forward, okay? We're at about 13-ish. The absolute number is not that important. What matters is that we just do a few, okay? And then we're going to go back the other way now. So now we're going the exact opposite direction or forwards. And again, I want you to really focus on squeezing your shoulder blades down and back and rolling your shoulders forward. And if you're doing it properly, you should start to feel this in your upper back already right from the very beginning, okay? And really focus on squeezing those shoulder blades and rolling them right around. Okay, now that's probably good. Now we're going to go to against the wall with the lacrosse ball. All right, so to do this portion of the exercise program properly, you are going to need a lacrosse ball or a baseball or a hard orange hockey ball or massage ball, anything that will stay against the wall when you do it. So what we're doing here is we're just going to self-massage our upper back muscles or our shoulder muscles, okay? So what you do is you take the ball, and what I want you to do is you're going to go around the outside of your shoulder blade, starting with your upper trap here. So you're going to go across the upper trap, okay, all the way to the close to your spine, okay? And we're just gonna find spots that are a little bit more sore, and we're gonna stay on those for a little bit longer. Now this will take a little bit of practice to get used to doing it properly and to feeling all where your regular spots are, but it's a good exercise or modality to help strengthen, or not strengthen, to help work out your shoulders and help get them, your shoulder blades moving a little bit more, which will help your shoulder mobility a lot, okay? So now what I'm going to do is go down the inside of my shoulder blade or the medial line of my shoulder blade, close to my spine. And what I want to do now is not go right on my spine and not right on my shoulder blade, but just be right in between them. And what I can do to get a little bit more, to get in deeper or more in behind the shoulder blade is I can push my arm forward like this. And by doing that, my shoulder blade should come forward a little bit, and that'll help me get the ball sort of on my subscapularis, or that muscle that goes right behind my shoulder blade, okay? You'll also be attacking your rhomboids a little bit too, and your low trap muscle as you do this. And then we'll just work our way down a little bit, down to the lower portion of the shoulder blade. So now I'm there, and now I'm going to go across the lower portion of my shoulder blade. I'm still going to come forward, but up a little bit this time, okay? So that allows the ball to get up and underneath the shoulder blade a little bit more, okay? So now we're gonna go down the outside and then right onto the shoulder blade a little bit, okay? So now there's a couple of spots there that are quite painful for me, and you'll find some spots too that probably hurt for you, and we're just gonna spend a little bit of time there, okay? So once I'm comfortable with that, now I'm going to roll over to the other side and repeat, going, okay, right across the top part of my shoulder blade, in between my shoulder blade and my upper trap muscle, trying to kind of create a little bit of separation there, okay? And now as I do this, so most people will probably find this relatively painful. You might even feel the muscle like a rope, sort of like it's almost like ripping's too strong of a word, but like it's maybe the string on an instrument or something like that, and you'll get like a little bit of noise as you go across it, and that's okay. It just means you probably really need to do this, okay? Now this side's a little bit worse for me. As you're doing it more and more, you'll get comfortable keeping the ball up there, okay? Because the tendency will be they'll come too far off the wall and the ball will fall, but that's okay. Once you get used to it, it becomes much easier. So now I'm gonna reach across and go in between my shoulder blade and spine again, and then back up my tippy toes and around. I gotta get a bit lower there for underneath the shoulder blade. Lower there. Okay, and across. So I didn't quite get underneath the shoulder blade there, so I'm a bit higher. That's okay. And now we're gonna go up onto the actual shoulder blade portion. So shoulder blade is not as big as it actually looks. It's quite a bit smaller than most people realize, which means you don't actually have to go as far all the way, or I mean, you're going all the way around, but it's not as long as you might initially think. Okay, and then that's good for your upper back. So now your upper back muscles should be relatively warm, and your shoulders should be pretty warm after doing that. And we're going to get into some movement exercises. Okay, so this brings us into the first sort of mobility movement exercise, which is going to be a wall slide. So some people aren't going to be able to do this on the wall, and they'll have to do it on the floor, and that is okay. You do the level that's right for you. Now, bend your knees a little bit so that it's easy for you to be right against the wall, and your feet are going to be off the wall too. Draw your belly button in so your back is flat against the wall, and I want you to try to keep your hands and your elbows and your wrists as best. It's pretty much impossible to keep all of them against the wall, but do your best to keep everything against the wall as best you can. You're going to go up into a Y just like this, maintaining all those contact points. Okay, so again, if this is too hard or too challenging, like it will be for many people, I want you to do the exact same motion but laying down on the floor. Okay, so we're going to do 15 of these. That's about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, again, slow and controlled, 8, 9. If you're starting to feel it in your upper traps, I want you to go more out in a Y as you go up, and then you'll feel it less in your traps and sort of more in your upper back again. Okay, so you have to play with the angle a little bit as you go. Okay, and that's good. So that's going to take us to the next exercise, which we're going to do down on the floor. Okay, so this next exercise is called the tabletop, and it's a little bit tricky because you have to be down on the floor, and also it's a bit of an exercise as well, more so than it is just a straight mobility exercise, or a strength exercise, I guess I should say. Now, there's two ways that you can do this. One, and you're going to do them both, so it doesn't matter which order you do them in, but what's important is that you do it properly. So keep your weight in your heels and keep your fingers pointing towards your heels. You're going to push your hips up so that you're nice and flat like a tabletop, and then you're going to come back down. So we're going to do about 10 of these where we're just holding it up for a couple of seconds and pushing our hips up as high as we can. And you're going to feel a very good stretch through the front of your shoulders and into your bicep in the front of your arms, okay? Now, it's very important that you're pushing up as high as you can, and even if that means you can't hold it up for the whole 3 seconds or 2 seconds, then that's okay. Okay, what's more important is I want you to get the height out of it, because I want your muscles getting used to being stretched out as much as possible. That's around 5 or 6 probably. 7, 8, 9. Okay, last one. 10. So now we're going to do the exact same motion, except I want you to turn your hands so that your fingers are pointing away from your body. Now, most people will find this a little bit easier, okay? But it still should be a pretty good stretch through the front of your shoulders. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, and big exhale every time you push your hips up. 6, that's really important. 7, if you're getting any cramping in your legs. 8, just take a little bit of a break in between your repetitions. 9, or watch our glute activation video, which will help you get your glutes firing a little bit more. 10. Okay, so that's good, which is going to take us to a couple of exercises, but we're going to be standing again. Okay, so this next exercise is the band pull behind your back. Now, what I like about using a band for this exercise, even though you can use a belt, is that a band is stretchy. So what that means is, as you're lifting your arms up and squeezing your shoulder blades down and back, then you can pull the band apart and let your hands come together just to make it a little bit easier. And as long as you're keeping your elbows straight as you do this exercise, it's going to be very helpful in making this exercise more effective. Now, always start with your hands a little bit wider on the band. So what I mean by that is hold it basically as wide as you can, and then as you're going back behind, squeezing your shoulder blades down and back, you can keep your arms straight the whole time. Then I want you to walk your hands in a little bit closer towards each other, and then do the exact same exercise again. Okay, so this is the number one best exercise that I think you can probably do for your shoulder mobility. So if you're only going to do one of these, then do this one, okay? So I don't know what number this is. It's probably about 8 as we go. So we're just gonna keep doing it. And I'm gonna pull it just a bit tighter again because that's what I can handle. Okay, and if we wanna look from the back, you can see here that I'm really using my shoulder blades to pull the band down and back, okay? Now, if you get really advanced or more advanced, you can use a belt as you do this exercise, but I recommend starting with the band. Okay, which brings us to the last exercise, which is the behind your back belt grab. Okay, so the final exercise is the belt pull, or behind your back belt pull. Now, I like using a belt, although you can use a band for this exercise, because the belt is solid and it doesn't have any give. And you're going to be pulling your pulling each hand, so it's important that you have something that's pretty firm. So what you're going to do is reach one hand over the back and one hand from behind. You're going to get your hands as close as you can together. Now, hopefully your hands get a little bit closer than mine, but on this side, that's all I have for my shoulder mobility. So what I want you to do is pull. Once you have a good grip, take the top hand and you're going to pull this bottom one up just a little bit to get a little bit of a stretch out of that front of your shoulder. Okay, so you'll feel that one right in the very front of your shoulder, and I just want you to hold it for about 5 or 10 seconds, and then we're going to release it and then go up again. Okay, and for most people, this is actually going to be very challenging, and you'll probably feel a very strong pull. Okay, so now once we've done that a couple of times, we're going to take this bottom hand, I'm going to release it a little bit so it's not pulling as much, and now I'm going to pull this top hand down. What that does is it gives you a good stretch through your tricep or the back of your top arm, and you're going to get a very strong pull, or a relatively strong pull through your lat, probably. Okay, now if you don't feel it in either of those places, then you're either not pulling hard enough, staying upright enough, or you already have enough mobility there, so you don't really have to worry about it, okay? But I feel a pretty strong stretch there. So once we hold that for about 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds, I'm going to pull it just a little bit further for another 20 seconds or so, and then I'm going to switch sides. So switching sides is easy. I just have to take the bottom hand lower, and as you can see here, I have a lot more mobility through my right shoulder. Okay, so hopefully you're a little bit more equal than I am, and you're going to pull that bottom hand up just a little bit where you feel that strong pull. We're just going to hold it for a good 15 seconds, and then once I feel it like it releases a bit, I'm going to pull it again just a little bit more. And that's probably enough for me for today. So now we're going to bring that bottom hand down just a bit so it's not quite as strong of a stretch. And we're going to now pull the top hand down, trying to look forward the whole time, okay? So you're not leaning forward, that's a common mistake, okay? And pulling that back hand down. Okay, so we should get a good stretch there. You can lean a little bit, that will give you a little bit more stretch, okay, when you lean to the opposite side. Okay, and then I feel it releasing, so I'm going to pull it a bit tighter again. And that's good. And that's how you improve the mobility of your shoulders. Hey guys, if you found this video helpful, please subscribe to our YouTube channel because we deliver content just like it every week. If you have any comments or questions about shoulder mobility, please leave them in the box below. Take care, and we'll talk to you next time.